Justin Thomas at 28-1. The PGA is at Valhalla, which is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas is from Louisville, Kentucky, and he just fired his caddy, and he's not playing great, and he just missed the cut at the Masters, and that would be a guy that I would look at. He was great to start the year, and now he's going through a little rut. That's what led to firing the caddy, Jim Bones Mackay. Now, let him get in a little bit of a rhythm. Let him tune up for the PGA, an event that he's already won twice before. Justin Thomas is a two-time major champion. Both of his wins have come in the PGA Championship. That is the major where he is the most confident. He's going to play the most relaxed. It's a home game for him. It's a course I'm sure he's played 100 times. So that would be the guy, right? We're all looking at the Masters right now, and that's fine. But if you're trying to find some value in some of these other majors right now, JT would be my pick, 28-1.
That's a really good call.
The only guy that I would play at long odds is probably Ludwig at 18-1. That'd be the guy. But again, as we were talking about, he's a debutante, which is just, that's tough, man. I mean, Cam Smith is interesting at 30-1. Xander, see, for a guy like Xander, you almost want him in this spot, right? So he's not thinking too much. Like, he's just trying to go out and make birdies, right? Like, he's at even par. He shot even both days in these tough conditions. Now he's not playing with Scheffler anymore. He's not playing with Rory. He can just relax and go easy. So I kind of like maybe Xander, maybe that look, potentially at 30-1. Remember, we were talking with Jeff Feinberg, and he got him at 28-1, which was a great number.
Yeah.
Xander closed 14-1. He told you he wouldn't bet it at that price. Well, now you're getting it at 30-1. He's 6 shots back, and you're getting him at 30-1. So, I don't know. Xander's certainly good enough to go out and shoot a 6-under tomorrow.
But if you look at how they perform in fourth quarters in clutch, they have 3 of the top 10 guys in clutch shooting percentage: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. When I see a number like that, I go, oh, hold on. This is a team, yes, they're young and inexperienced, but they have been a great clutch team for 2 years now, flying under the radar. I can trust that a little bit more. The Minnesota Timberwolves, it's weird because they do have the playoff experience from the last 2 years, right? But then Karl Anthony Towns just tweeted out, I'm back. He's trying to make it on the floor. They're flipping their lineup around a little bit. There just seems to be a lot more uncertainty with who they are as a group. So, like, both teams, I can see why it wouldn't happen for them. But if I had to put money on one, I would go with the Thunder. I think they've been more consistent all season.
Which fight are you most looking forward to tomorrow, Sean?
The one that I'm going to make the most money on, PJ, and that is Charles do Bronx Oliveira against Arman Sarukian. Every now and again, guys, a line comes out and you look at it and you're like, that's not right. And then it changes closer to the game or closer to the fight. This one really hasn't changed, and they've got the wrong fighter as the favorite. Arman Sarukian is minus 225 against Charles Oliveira. Right now, you can get him at BetMGM at plus 185. This guy, Oliveira, a former champion, one of the best resumes in the history of the UFC, and it's not like he's fallen off, right? If you look at the last 4.5 years, he's lost one fight, and it was to the pound-for-pound number 1 right now, Islam Makhachev. I know I just said a lot of words. What I'm telling you is open your piggy bank and put your money down on Charles Oliveira tomorrow night.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So tomorrow night, what would you do with Holly Holm, man? She's plus 333. I wanted to do something with Harrison. Is it just like kind of like money line parlay if you want to do anything? Because I'm looking at the price right now for Harrison, minus 450.
Yeah, because Kayla's that good, and it's her first fight in the UFC, and it's the biggest possible stage for Kayla Harrison. So maybe she gets a little bit of nerves, but I doubt it. There's a reason why she's a minus 400 essentially at BetMGM. And Holly Holm, let's just call it what it is. She's basically rode off the stardom of, I don't want to say a single moment against Ronda Rousey, but obviously the moment that she's most known for. What I'm telling you is Holly Holm's a little bit overrated. Probably has been on the decline now for a handful of years, and Kayla Harrison's going to beat her up. I wouldn't be surprised if this one's done in 1.
I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan, one of the baddest dudes on the planet. Coming up tomorrow night, again, UFC 300. We're talking with Sean Levine right now. He's going to defend the BMF title against Holloway. I actually think Holloway might be the play here at plus 125, but I don't like betting against Gaethje. He's minus 150 at BetMGM. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, this one for the BMF belt, the baddest MF out there. And they got it right between these two fighters, Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. Max has been in the UFC for so long. Everybody thinks he's old. He's not. He's only 32 years old. And a crazy stat, he's never been knocked down, which obviously means he's never been knocked out, but he's also never even been knocked down inside of the octagon. Something tells me Justin Gaethje's going to knock him down. Gaethje gets in there. There's a reason he's called the highlight, because that's exactly how he fights. He puts his head down, meets the dude in the middle of the octagon, and they throw. So, yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be an absolute banger for the BMF belt. Gaethje right now at BetMGM is minus 150. I'm actually leaning toward Gaethje by decision, right? Max has one of the best chins, not just in the UFC right now, but in the history of combat sports. I don't necessarily see him getting knocked out by Justin Gaethje, even though that wouldn't surprise me at all. I like Gaethje on the cards in the BMF fight.
Sean, what's the fight that you're the most torn on? You know, like maybe earlier this week you thought you were going to go one side, and then sitting here tonight, night before all the fights, you're thinking about going the other way. Is there one of those fights where you keep going back and forth?
Boys, I cannot decide on the main event, this Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill fight. And it's like, I wish that I wouldn't have dove too deep into it and just would have gone with my initial bet, which is Alex Pereira is going to beat this guy up. We're talking about a current double champion, a guy that's knocked out Israel Adesanya not once but twice. And Jamal Hill for a long time, I don't want to say he was a gatekeeper, but he was kind of like Jorge Masvidal, where he was up and down and winning fights and losing fights. And then he went on a little bit of a run and he became champion. Here's the thing about Jamal Hill in the main event tomorrow night. He never actually lost his belt, right? He got injured and he did the honorable thing, which was, I'm going to be out for a while. I don't want to hold up the division. So he actually relinquished his belt. So this is essentially champion versus champion. It's going to be a great fight. CPJ, I wish you wouldn't have asked me it, because now I think I talked myself into Jamal Hill at plus 110. I'm leaving this one alone. I have no idea what to bet on the main event.
No, I think you're on the right side there. What do you think about, do you think the fight ends inside the distance? Because I like that. Or maybe like a knockout, or do you think this goes the distance? Because that'd probably be my play in the main event.
Yeah, I mean, you could get, if you try to like pin the tail on the donkey like that, Ryan, it's fun because you can make a lot of money, right? I think this guy's going to win in this round. I think this guy's going to win by sub. Sometimes you just got to play the smart money, which oftentimes is that the fight is going to go to the cards. Remember, we're talking about a main event championship fight, which means not 3 rounds, 5 rounds. So that's 2 extra rounds for one of these dudes to finish the other one. So I actually think that somebody is probably going to get knocked out. Both guys clearly have the knockout power. I mean, if you look at the highlight reel of Jamal Hill, there's a bunch of knockouts, but not like Alex Pereira. That guy might be the king, the current king of knockouts in the UFC. So if somebody's going down, I bet Pereira puts Jamal Hill on his back.
What do you think about, if any, thoughts on Bobby Green, Jim Miller? I'm asking because Jim Miller plus 154 right now. Bobby Green minus 180.
Yeah, King Green, one of my favorite fighters against Jim Miller. Jim Miller has actually asked Bruce Buffer to announce him as Jim effing Miller. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe we get that tomorrow at UFC 300. I know you're going to get this, guys. Jim Miller joins us tomorrow right here on the BetQL network. 6 o'clock Eastern time on Tapped Out. So he'll be on the show tomorrow night. He's joining myself and my co-host, Brendan Tobin. Great interview with him. And if a guy comes on the show, I never bet against him. It just feels like bad karma. So, yeah, I'll take Jim Miller over Bobby Green tomorrow night. I just can't. It feels dirty.
Especially a guy that could kick your ass, Sean.
They all can. Let's be honest. Every man, woman, and if there was a child in the UFC could do that. But, yeah, if you come on my show, I'll put a little bit of money on you. That's how it works.